doing this. This is awesome. Okay, let's start. Your project reduces leakage of funds and increases savings. What are the different ways one can achieve this goal, and why did you select automatic transfers?
So the problem that we're really trying to solve is one of self-control and limited attention. Everyone wants to save more. They want to reduce their debt, but they have difficulty doing it. They don't quite get around to it. So that's why we've designed this session in which they come in, they talk to someone, they agree with this coach on what their goal should be for saving, what their goal should be for reducing debt. And then instead of going home with a task to do later to actually start saving more, that is set up during the session, and that way they don't have to think about it and worry about it. It's automatic. If something happens, they can always cancel it, but now we've shifted the default from not saving to saving, and from not reducing that to reducing that.
Now, are most respondents aware of who is paying for the coaching?
In the case of this study, they know that this is a project jointly being done by their credit union and a top university, so they don't know the exact identity.
Now, would you anticipate any trust issues, and how would you overcome them if they felt that there was a for-profit enterprise that was paying for part of the initiative?
Yeah, that's a good question, because trust is really important for this type of intervention. In this case, it's a credit union. The coach is an employee of the credit union. They've all been customers for a while, so that trust is there. I think if this ever got rolled out as a third-party initiative that was for-profit, what would have to be there is very strong governance around privacy and people having choice in what data gets shared or sold. And that, I think, would build the trust.
Right. Now, your project actually had a lot of good advice about recruiting and retaining what I would call customers. Could you share with us some of the ways in which you did that?
Sure. So the first thing we did was we sent people letters. We actually specifically designed the letters to be quite plain, because these were existing customers of the credit union. So we didn't want the letter to get mixed with the hundreds of other offers that they're getting. We also had the financial coach himself place the outbound calls. And we had him leave a personal message. So people would then call back. And by the way, the letter was signed by him as well.
Oh, great.
So everything was personalized. It's coming from our financial coach. He called people back. He did follow-up calls if they didn't reach him. So it was a fairly intense outreach effort.
That's great. Now, what did you do for retainment?
That's been a bit of a challenge. So in our context, I would see retention as getting people to show up for the appointment they've set. We started to get a lot of no-shows. So what we started to do was send a couple of email reminders. And the last reminder also doubled as a preparatory email. So it told people, bring your utility statements if you can find them, or bring some materials if you can find them. So that helped a little bit, but it is a challenge actually to get people to show. Now, once they come and we set up automated transfers, or if they don't want to, we use a combination of SMS and email. So there's actually a facility for the agent to send an email, but it actually turns into an SMS. He just needs to know the carrier of the customer, which he captures when they come in for the session.
That's great. Now, did you find that different types of recruitment or retainment techniques work with different types of consumers?
We just don't have enough sample to look at the...
It's something to look at in the future.
It'll be something to look at as we do more of this. In fact, we're planning now to do another version of the study, which will do the session over the phone and online chat. So we'll already see if different channels for even doing the session attract different people.
That's great. Now, I really, really liked your high-touch approach. And was wondering if you had any recommendations for how we might be able to provide this to lots of people, but at a relatively, lower cost.
Yeah, so we're quite aware of the cost of the intervention, but actually the design, the idea itself pays for that high cost. Right? The high cost in high touch we think is really important to get impact. But we believe that there'll be enough impact and enough of a selection effect as to who's choosing this. But we're going to essentially have a forward-looking view on credit. Whereas today's credit scores and credit screening are all backward-looking. And if we're successful, lenders should be more than happy to pay for these sessions.
Right. And again, in the interest of full disclosure, do you feel like it will be necessary to explain who is supporting or paying for the costs of the coaching going forward?
I think it will, and it'll ultimately, if it becomes like taking a defensive driving course and getting a discount on your auto insurance, that will be ideal. So people will go to these things knowing that they're going to get a discount on their credit, or that some lender is subsidizing it, and that'll be completely fine.
That's great. I'm hoping we see that day soon.
Yeah.
Thank you so
That'd be
much
great.
for doing the interview.
Thank you, Punu.